How does Christ execute the office of a priest?
Christ executes the office of a priest in his once offering of himself a sacrifice to satisfy divine justice and to reconcile us to God, and in making continual intercession for us.
How does Christ execute the office of a king?
Christ executes the office of a king in subduing us to himself, in ruling and defending us, and in restraining and conquering all his and our enemies for our sake.
In what did Christ's humiliation consist?
Christ's humiliation consisted in being born and that of a low condition, made under the law, undergoing the miseries of this life, the wrath of God, and the cursed death of the cross, in being buried and continuing under the power of death for a time.
In what does Christ's exaltation consist?
Christ's exaltation consisted in rising again from the dead on the third day, in descending unto heaven, and sitting at the right hand of the Father, and in coming to judge the world at the last day.
How are we made partakers of the redemption purchased by Christ?
We are made partakers of the redemption purchased by Christ by the effective application of it to us by the Holy Spirit.
How does the Spirit apply to us the redemption purchased by Christ?
The Spirit applies to us the redemption purchased by Christ by working faith in us and by implementing us to Christ in our effective calling.
What is effectual calling?
Effectual calling is the work of God's Spirit by which, convincing us of our sin and misery, enlightening our minds to the knowledge of Christ, and renewing our wills, he persuades and enables us to embrace Jesus Christ freely offered us in the gospel.
Okay, next slide. Okay, 1 Thessalonians 4, 5, and 6. Not in the passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know God, that no one transgresses and wrong his brothers in this matter. Because the Lord is an avenger in all these things, as we told you beforehand and solemnly warned you. 1 Thessalonians 4, 5, and 6. Please be seated.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for the first convocation of the year, give a round of applause for the Smith family.
Places, everyone. The show is about to start. Cue intro in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome to Islam News.
I'm your host, Caden Smith, and today we have an exciting program examining the birth of Islam. What major religion has gained thousands of followers in North America, including many professional athletes? What is the youngest among major world religions, but is still one of the largest? What religion is so missionary-minded that it is seeking to convert Western countries and not just African and Asian countries? The answer to these questions is Islam, a belief system that claims nearly 2 billion, with a B, followers throughout the world. This widespread belief originated in what is now called Saudi Arabia. Using trade routes, this religion spread over to Asia and Africa. Surprisingly, the country with the most followers of Islam is not even in the Middle East. Indonesia takes the title at a shocking 120 million followers. As of 1994, Islam was a mere 1/6 of the world's population, and nowadays a shocking 1/4 of the entire world's population believes in Allah. The word Islam means submission to Allah, the God of Muhammad. A believer in this religion is called a Muslim, which translates to one who lives his life according to Allah's will. First up today, let's take a look at how exactly Muhammad became a prophet. Here's Xander with the scoop.
Before the Islamic religion captivated the Middle East, Christianity and Judaism were on the world stage. The Middle East was seemingly irrelevant on the planet, and the two major world religions had a firm grip. That all changed when Muhammad became a prophet. Muhammad was born in 570 AD in Mecca. He came from a prominent and highly respected family. His father died a few days before his birth, and his mother died when he was 6 years old. He then lived with his grandfather, who died when Muhammad was a 9-year-old. Jeez, that's a lot of tragedy. When older, he traveled with his uncle and got into the caravan trade. There he was exposed to monotheism, which includes Jews and the people who engage in praising Jesus. He was working with the caravan. He got exposed to his most wealthy employer, Kajahara. Even though she was 40 years old and Muhammad was 25, they had several children, and they lived happily. After his marriage, he spent much of his time in solitary meditation, and at the age of 40, he received his first revelation in 610 AD. And this angel told him to read. He believed that God had sent the angel named Gabriel, who is chief among the angels, to direct Muhammad to create a new religion, Islam. So, Muhammad became a prophet. Back to you, Caden.
Thank you, Xander, for shedding light on the man who convinced 1.8 billion people to follow Allah. This was an amazing revelation, as at the time, Muhammad could not read. Over the course of the next 23 years, Muhammad wrote down his many revelations into what is now called the Quran. So, what does the Quran actually say? Here's Professors A and Z, leading Islamic theologians, to answer our questions. Dr. A, let's start with you. Tell us about the doctrines taught in Islam.
There are 6 doctrines. The first being God. There are only one true God, and his name is Allah. Allah is all-seeing, all-knowing, and all-powerful. The second are angels. The chief angel is Gabriel, who is said to have appeared to Muhammad.
Isn't there also a fallen angel named Satan?
Yes. Third, the scriptures. Muslims believe in 4 God-inspired books. The Torah of Moses.
Don't the Christians call that the Pentateuch?
Yes. Zabur, Psalms of David. The Injil, which is the Gospel of Jesus, and the Quran. Muslims believe that Jews and Christians corrupted their scriptures. The Quran is Allah's final word to mankind. It supersedes and overrules all others. The fourth is the Prophet Muhammad. The Quran lists Jesus. To the Muslim, the last and greatest prophet was Muhammad.
Muhammad was even greater than Jesus?
Yes. Fifth, the end times. On the last day, the dead will be resurrected. Allah will be the judge, and each person will be sent to heaven or hell. Heaven is a place of sensual pleasure. Hell is for those who oppose Allah and his prophet Muhammad. Finally, the sixth, predestination. God has determined what he pleases, and no one can change what he has decreed. This is known as Qismat, the doctrine of fate. From this doctrine comes the most common Islamic phrase, if it is Allah's will.
Thank you, Dr. A, for your insights into the 6 doctrines of Islam. Now let's find out what it means to be a Muslim. What must one do to be considered a follower of Allah? Dr. Z, can you tell us?
Yes, I can. Besides the 6 doctrines that are to be believed, Besides the 6 doctrines that are to be believed, there are 5 duties to be performed. First, statement of belief. To become a Muslim, a person must recite the Shahada. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah. Muslims must pray 5 times a day, at daybreak, noon, mid-afternoon, sunset, and early evening. They must kneel and bow in the prescribed manner and face Mecca. There are some samples of prayer rugs. There. Third, alms. Muslim law today requires the believer to give 1/40 or 2.5% of his profit to the poor, unwealthy, and unlucky. But it's not like an optional thing, it is required. Lastly, fourth is Ramadan, which is the holy month of fasting for the Islamic religion. Muslims are required to fast for the entire month, and if they do anything unworthy throughout that month, their fasting is useless and they've wasted their time. But they can eat and drink during the night. Fifth is pilgrimage to Mecca. Once in a Muslim's life, they must go to Mecca, which is the holiest city in the Islamic religion. If they cannot go, or it's just too dangerous, they can ask a friend to go to Mecca. Any questions?
Thank you for your insight into the teaching of Islam. That's some deep stuff. Let's take a look at some lighthearted discoveries from the Islamic world. Stories like Aladdin and Sinbad are told to have come from a Muslim leader who would select a new female companion every night. And then, when the morning came, he would kill them. However, a lovely slave girl would tell him the stories of the Arabian Nights and more invigorating tales, and the king would let her live. So even today, these stories are said to be as central to the Islamic culture as the Quran. Oh, I come from a land, from a faraway place, where the caravan and camels roam, where it's flat and immense, and the heat is intense. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
Where the winds from the east and the suns from the west, and the sand in the glass is bright.
Come on, dance, stop on by, hop a car, let's fly to another Arabian night.
Arabian night, like Arabian days, or
often than not are hotter than hot in a lot of good ways. Arabian Nights with Arabian moons. A fool off his guard could fall and fall hard out there on the dunes.
Shouldn't we get back to reporting about Islam?
That's a good idea. Commercial break.
Have you ever traveled to Mecca with nowhere to stay? Been alone in the desert, hopeless to pray to the holy stone? Then do we have a place for you? The Mecca Royal Clock Tower, overlooking the Kaaba, is the perfect place to settle down before going down to worship Kaaba. At 601 meters tall, this building happens to be the third tallest in the world. Prayer can be very stressful and energy depleting, so stay at the Mecca Royal Clock Tower today. This amazing structure is not only a beautiful, enormous hotel, it is also a mall which happens to have the largest clock tower in the world, which happens to be 6 times bigger than Big Ben in the UK. So what are you waiting for? Book a night at the Mecca Royal Clock Tower today. Now, let's take a break and get our studio audience involved. Hello, my name is Addison, and I will be your host for today. Welcome to the first annual Islamic Spelling Bee. Without further ado, let's begin. Would these not-so-random audience members please come up to the stage? Jack, Joe, and Allison Freeworth. Your word is hijab.
Can I get a definition?
Sure. A hijab is a traditional head covering worn by women in the presence of a man who is not her immediate family.
I guess that'd be H-I-J-A-B.
That is correct. Allison, your word is Jahannam. Can I get a definition? Of course. Jahannam is the Islamic variant for hell. A quick way to get there in their culture is committing the unforgettable sin, which is believing in another God besides Allah. There are many different terms to describe hell, such as the Arabic words for the fire, the abyss, that which breaks into pieces, and the blaze. Okay, so I forgot the word, so I'm going to say A-L-L-I-S-O-N. Allison! Unfortunately, that was incorrect. Joe, your word is Jannah. Can I get a definition? Of course. Jannah is the Islamic variant for heaven. Allah promises infinite pleasures and food in Jannah. Some ways to get into Jannah include a combination of the following: faith and good deeds, seeking knowledge, going to the mosque, and being good to one's parents.
Jannah, okay, I'll say J-A-N-N-A-H.
That is correct. Jack, your word is kafir.
Can I get a definition?
You may. A kafir is a person who refuses to submit to Allah. This term generally used by Muslims to refer to those who do not believe in Muhammad and the Quran, and who do not believe in God.
I guess I'd have to say K-A-F-I-R.
That is correct. Joe, your word is Medina.
Medina, can I get a definition?
Medina is a city located about 200 kilometers north of Mecca. Medina was originally called Yathrib. In the year 622, Muhammad was originally kicked out of Mecca for his belief in Islam. So when he went on a journey with his followers to Medina, he converted them.
That's hard. I'll say M-E-D-D-I-N-A.
Unfortunately, that is incorrect. Jack, if you get your final word correct, you will be the winner of the first annual Islamic Spelling Bee. Are you ready for your word?
I am.
Your final word is hijra.
Can I get a definition?
The hijra was the flight of Muhammad from Mecca to Medina because of the people of Mecca disliking his teaching and planning to assassinate him. The Islamic calendar, which is set to April 19th, 622, is centered around hijra.
Okay, let's see. I think it's Hegira.
I'm sorry, but that is correct! Congratulations, you won the Islamic Spelling Bee!
That was fun. Congratulations to our winner. Let's get back to our top story. Most of you in my studio audience are Christians. So what are the differences between Islam and Christianity? The Quran contradicts the Bible by saying Jesus was not fully God. Instead, that Jesus was a prophet. It goes on to say that Muhammad was the final and greatest prophet, and the Bible makes no such claim. Another contradiction is that the Quran claims that Abraham did not send away Ishmael and Hagar, and instead took Ishmael to Mecca. Once they reached the city, they built an altar for God, but needed one more stone to complete the project. According to the Quran, an asteroid from heaven, known as Jannah by those of the Islamic faith, was sent by Allah carrying the final stone. When it landed, it was said to have been pure white. However, the color changed to dark black due to the impurities of the world. This stone now resides comfortably within the Kaaba, which all Muslims pray to every day. Another difference is the fact that the only thing required to be a Christian is to believe that Jesus died for your sins. However, to be a believer in Islam, you must travel to Mecca once in your life, engage in Ramadan, and a whole slew of other tasks for Allah. But why does any of this matter? Most of you in my studio audience are Christians and need to be armed with the knowledge to combat different ideologies. In order to be a Christian, one must know why they're a Christian. To have a conversation or debate with someone of the Islamic faith, knowing their stance on life can change the conversation for the better, as the Christian can appear less ignorant to hard-hearted individuals and lead them on the path to Christ.
And cut! Great show, everyone. Thank you for our audience and our tech crew for making this such a success.
We will now be taking questions from said audience.
Ms. Johnson.
How long did y'all take to prepare this fabulous convocation?
We've been working on it for about a month.
Awesome. Y'all did great.
And Rochelle?
Yeah. What do the Muslims believe about the New Testament? You know that one?
They believe that it was corrupted by the Christians.
No.
Are those globes for your domes?
Could you repeat the question?
Are the domes globes?
No.
They're half circles. Luke?
Why is the definition of Islam faith oppressive? Why not the symbol, the main symbol for Islam oppressive?
I believe it's due to the fact that their calendar is centered around the lunar year.
Noah?
Why do they like the color green so much?
I'm not really sure.
All right, great.
you so much, Smith family. Wow. Okay. Man, that's how you do it right there. All right. So that's the bottom standard. Now we want you to be above and above and above that. All right. So, hey guys, can we leave this up for a little while for the day so we can see? I want y'all to come up close during the day. If you would, be very careful. Come on the stage and look at this like during lunch, okay? All right, very good. Let's go to the next slide. Let's work up. Okay, we want to recognize some of our PACES Paideia veterans here that are on campus with us today. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and today we want to just go one more day and just to say thank you to a few people that we're aware of. And the first, we'd like to put the next slide, and that is Corporal Emily Johnson for the Army. If you want to come forward. She has not changed one bit since this photo right here. So thank you so much. Corporal Johnson, we thank you for being up here and being a part of this. We want to continue just to be reminded of some key people. There's one more that we want to throw, and then maybe more than that. Next slide is Staff Sergeant Earl Poon. All right, Staff Sergeant Earl. He's back in the kitchen. I don't know who is stay here. That's right. Corporal. Just love to say corporal. That's really cool. All right, Staff Sergeant Earl. So now you know why we have these strong leaders on our campus, right? Because that's what they did. They're in a leadership position in the military, and they carried on to this campus. So we thank you for that. All right, now let's recognize any others that we may be missing. These are two we're aware of. Are there any service people in the room that you've served in the military? Right? Yeah. Who's that? Your husband. Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We want to certainly, Rob Harmon, let's see, he's corporal, he's corporal, what was his? Colonel, that's right. Colonel Harmon, that's right, I should know that. Colonel Harmon, we don't get to call him Colonel Harmon very often. That's another one that we want to recognize, yes? Bo Scott, all right, and he was the Army, and we don't know his rank, but Mr. Bo Scott, any others, okay? Nathan?
My dad served 20 years in the Air Force and retired at Master Sergeant.
Master Sergeant Frank Ballman. Master Sergeant Frank Ballman. Okay, here we go. Your grandpa? And he was in the Army. Okay, very good. Your dad was in the Army. Okay. Your grandfather? My goodness, 17 and 8 years. Okay, all right, all right.
My great-grandfather was he fought against the Nazis.
Oh my goodness, okay.
And my dad was also in Christian.
Your dad, okay, very good. Great-grandparents? Okay, very good. Someone else?
Two of my great-grandfathers were, one of them served in World War II, and the other one served in Korea.
All right, great-grandfathers, okay. Okay. Vincent? Great-grandfather? Yes.
Both of my grandfathers, one on the European theater and the other one in the Philippines theater,
My goodness.
Pacific theater. And my great-grandfather was in World War I, and my two times great-grandfather was in the Civil War, and my 5 times great-grandfather was in the Revolutionary War.
Okay. That's a heritage. Oh, my goodness. The Civil, all the way back to the Civil War, right? Okay. No?
Grandpa was a paratrooper and was stationed in Germany during the construction of the Berlin Wall.
My goodness. The stories are amazing here. Okay? Let's take a few more. Yes. Go ahead. Lynn's okay? What?
Right now, my uncle is in the Navy SEALs.
Has a Navy SEAL uncle. Okay. All right. Miss Rushing? Thank you. Edward?
My great-grandfather on my mom's side of the family served in World War I.
Good. I think you're...
And my grandfather served as a nurse for Energy at Helmholtz.
And how about your mother?
Last time, all I know is that she served in the Army.
She was in the Army, right. His mother and father, yes?
Both of my grandfathers were in, they served in the Korean War. One was a Marine and the other one was in the Air Force.
All right.
My grandfather served in the Air Force, and even after he retired from the Air Force, he spent his entire life working for it. So,
Well, made a career of it.
two of my grandfathers in the Army. One of them was drafted. My other grandfather was in the Air Force for 4 years, and my uncle served in the Navy.
Very good. All right. We have a graduate, Chandler Harmon, will be going in the military as well in the near future. Chandler Harmon. Does anyone know that date? I don't have that. Miss Harmon just walked out. And then Cullen Scott Seago, our son, is an ex-Marine and was served 6 years as well. Again, a PACES Pi Dei graduate. So we know that this is a special day there, Corporal, and we want to thank, again, you're representing a wide group of folks here, and we thank you for that, and we thank you for the opportunity we have just to pause and be reminded of those who give so much so that we heal. And this is the next slide I want to put up. We want to thank you, but we will never forget. Would you join me in saying that? We will never forget. All right, that's the word. That's the word we want to carry on our hearts. We cannot forget the service you guys have done. Thank you so much. All right. All right, next slide here. Let's run through this right quick. Colin, I'm going to have you come. Viking Day is coming up the 15th. That looks like that's going to be Thursday, right? Woo! All right. Now, was there a special, we had some words. Someone needed to give us some information about Viking Day. Do you, Ms. Hope, do you need to tell us something? Here, quick. We're running out of time.
If you haven't signed up for the potluck, tell your parents, go to the newsletter and click that button. Sign up.